Alright. It's been a long time since we last played together, Shadowhawk. And, yeah.
Yeah,
It's a lot
definitely, though. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Certainly a lot to talk about. Honestly, that's why all this stuff, it's made me so tired, honestly.
And I've seen people just fighting each other. Again.
Again, this is why I don't like when stories break out. I mean, I'm glad at least when the news breaks out so we can see what kind of situation... Wait, is the stream up, though, so we can talk about this?
Yes. Yes.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just distracted, though, from seeing what my friend was talking about. But, yeah, basically, it's just that I'm not against that, but that at least employees of BioWare brought our attention. I'm always up for that because I want to. It's just the main drawback is seeing the people who don't really know about the situation trying to comment on it like they somehow know what is going on or that they have the solutions for it. And it just really just is something that, again, is just something that makes me so very tired.
I can only wish a better future, better days ahead.
Yeah, I hope so too, though. Whether it will or not,
I am so tired
of all that. Because I really like Anthem, though, and again, I really dislike, and it often reminds me of the mindset, where I really dislike where people have this thing that apparently, if they don't like the core of your game, they apparently will at least decide, oh, well, I'll like it more if there's more content associated with it. Unlike most people who say this, I genuinely do not actually care for how much content there is if I don't actually like playing a game, though. You can give me thousands of hours of content all you want. If I'm not having fun, I won't care what's there. I do this with several games again. It's like what even Fallout 76 was what it was, though. I mean, I wasn't really having fun with it, so that's why I decided not to really play it, though. I'm not against going back to it. I mean, I know that some new content has been dropping recently, but for me, it was just a case of just not really wanting to go back until I saw more stuff coming.
Yeah.
So for me, and it's just a case of if I ultimately don't.
Yeah. If you don't like it,
if I don't actually
introducing your champion.
Exactly. Basically, it's just I just don't understand why you would
that they would be so vindicative or like so defensive. Because I've seen. Christ, this is hard. Oh, you're the jump master, by the way. A lot of people are heading towards either. I recommend the cast.
Feeling about this area.
Hey, maybe we land here.
Okay.
Maybe we don't.
Here we go. Hang tight.
So your second favorite character is Gibraltar?
Most favorite character to play is Wraith, but someone else picked her, so I just picked this guy on the fly because I wasn't sure who to pick elsewhere. So yeah, that's what I would say is
I just hope that things get
just
better.
The main thing that was there.
I really do hope things.
I hope so too.
And I've taken that like a bodycon something might be out of the question since it's so fucking systematic.
Again, it's emblematic, really, of the whole industry. Even though I myself will be going into it, there definitely are just a lot of problems that I would say that just have to be. But again, even though I support unionization, though, I do think we also have to think of how we implement it, because it would have the potential to possibly even do worse, though, or not take everything in consideration. Yeah, more damage of it. Because I go with definitely what Ask a Game Dev, the person you were tweeting about earlier, was saying on there, which is I have to agree with it more than just on principle. I mean, I agree with it on principle, but I also have to agree with it on implementation. Because otherwise, though, who knows what extra damage or unforeseen consequences it could have.
You've seen my conversation with Ask a Game Dev then.
Yeah, I saw it though. It was I saw it on there from it because usually it just shows me when that happens. Yeah, as I said, this is just like one entirely shit situation because I was hoping that Anthem was going to be what to stream, but yeah, definitely after that news, it just feels like it was just not the appropriate thing to do. Yeah, so
maybe later.
Left it be.
Yeah. Maybe later.
Maybe at a later time when more ends up when things calm down though and stuff. Sure, but yeah, as of this one, I just don't really feel like playing that one though.
Yeah. Oh my. I remember our conversation about you buying Red Dead
Helmet
Redemption
here.
2?
Level 2.
And
Yeah.
that you
I still love the game.
Yeah, you ultimately decided to buy it just to support partially you like the game and partially because you wanted to support the devs in spite of everything that happened.
Yeah, it was mainly things like that, though, and in general, it was a game I was just really wanting and looking forward to for a long time.
Yeah.
So, hence why I ended up getting it. And because also I knew that not buying it, especially because of other other devs on there, who said that not buying it really, like anything that involves boycotts, it really does not do anything helpful, contrary to what a lot of people think it is. That your best thing is really just to go and give feedback, though. Sort of like basically how that whole James Gunn situation did, though, which eventually succeeded.
Oh yeah,
boycotting Outcast.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get to that.
I was going to bring that up because James Gunn has been rehired. That was a pleasant.
Yeah, I know.
I was surprised.
I was as well, though, and that's what the point I was about to get to, though. Just like that situation, no, boycotting Captain Marvel or boycotting Avengers Endgame was not going to do anything to bring him back, though, and it just was something that wasn't really the rightly aimed thing to do. So for this one, that's what I would say. Instead of doing that, it really is that crucial feedback, though. Just explain what is wrong, though. Definitely other efforts to try to go and demonstrate that you really do want to make the games better or make the development process of it better. That's what you want to do, though, for it.
Yeah.
And for hopefully, though, that's what I hope that through that feedback, though, that and especially through the backlash that BioWare can do so, because clearly it doesn't have the same managers it once had. I mean, after all, though, people move to different areas, etc. So, like, I mean, Casey Hudson seems like he ultimately was good, but it's just that he doesn't have much experience with live service games, though, which is something I can understand, because that was always more of the Texas branch of BioWare that had that experience rather than Edmonton.
Yeah, according to the article, the Austin branch tried to give out feedback, but they weren't considered.
Yeah, it seems that maybe, though, there was just a case of really bad blood that was... yeah, it could be stuff like that, though, from other things of it. Maybe not so much pride, though, but maybe just because, as a lot of these things go, people just disagree on visions, and so it just ends up going to who ends up getting the final say. Again, this is the thing that I often feel like a lot of people don't understand, which is that games are, by all means, collaborative effort. It's something that no single person ends up having full control
Rockstar,
of.
Rockstar or Artura Theory stuff, because I honestly don't believe in that kind of stuff, because, first of all, it's just...
In movies, there is somewhat of that, since directors can have a lot of control for it. I mean, in the case of games, it's never really a case where someone can really just have the final say on it. The closest you can get to that is the executive producer, since they make a lot of the macro decisions, but even still, even they can potentially be overturned. It's again it's a highly collaborative effort, and while that does bring its upsides, it definitely has its downsides. This again comes back to me when it came to the canceled Ragtag project that Visceral had, though, before it unfortunately closed down. I felt certainly that it was a shit situation that was there, but I'm glad that I never personally jumped on the hate machine that was all, oh my god, EA just basically killed this just because they hate single-player games, instead of the more complicated answer, which is that a lot of people were fighting and ultimately couldn't even agree on what this open world game's vision was supposed to be. A lot of people were just confused and had different ideas of how it was supposed to be approached.
Yeah.
And based on that, unfortunately, a lot of people were just wanting to go and just basically assume it was that, though.
Yeah.
And I'm glad, though, at least, though, that I wasn't personally on that.
Yeah.
It's just stuff like that, though, and it's just, again, a really miserable situation to listen to, because, again, when it comes to YouTube, it's constantly recommended on my feeds, even though I know most people don't know what they're talking about, but it doesn't really matter. I'm at least glad that Nicandros finally had that YouTube channel up, and I hope he gets used it more to make up on those other topics, because damn, would that be helpful.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't ever expect that he'll ever have much in the way of views or subscribers, but his existence, at least for YouTube, at least eases my mind.
Yeah, I've shared his video on Twitter and his channel.
taking shots.
Yeah, that's how I actually ended up. You were sharing it was how I ended up learning about it because I had no idea of its existence.
I had no idea of the video and stuff until I just stumbled upon it earlier today. Aw, they disconnected and we got distracted. Oh my god, we should have been playing the game. Oh, in really, really weird news, Jim Carrey has...
the Mussolini picture.
Oh.
And then apparently someone who was an actual descendant of Mussolini was just calling him a bastard. And it's... I honestly am not sure what to make of that. I didn't actually expect that Mussolini had a descendant who actually was a political figure in Italy's government.
Wait, she was?
That was definitely yeah, she's like, I believe she's like a senator or something in Italy.
I think I'll just take that because... I'll just take that, because it's just a funny thing to watch.
Oh, hell yeah, it is, though. It's just definitely was most unexpected to see.
Ooh, body shield. Alright. Have you seen some of the recent trailers for Endgame?
Oh, I have, though, and definitely it's just made me hype this movie more. I mean, even after all these, even after this whole past year, basically, and even if there's a lot of people who definitely have slowly grown to dislike Infinity War after their first viewing, I still think it's a freaking great movie, and I still love it for what it has there.
What? What do you say, like...
I've seen some... As in, like, on Twitter, though, when I see some people, though, not so many, but noticeably, where there were people who would just say how they felt like it wasn't as good on their first viewing as it was it wasn't as good on their second viewing as their first, which I can understand why, though, after the initial shock of it, but I still feel like it gives me that highly emotional thing, though, to really attach it to. And again, I just felt it was just greatly made on there.
There was a novelization of the movie, and it gets to the part with Spidey dying, and it delves into Tony's inner thoughts.
Yeah, I could only imagine what was rushing you through. And when my sister and me were talking about the movie, she also mentioned like how that line in Spider-Man: Homecoming really, she thinks was resonating with him. Where he said, "If anything happens, that's on you. And if you drop, I feel like that's on me. I don't want that on my conscience." So I really think that line really ended up cementing how that whole thing ended up going.
Yeah, we died. Good run. It was a decent run. One was mostly uneventful. Ugh. And, somewhat related, but Captain Marvel has just gotten, $1 billion in revenue worldwide. Please, if you can hear my brother making comments at the piano gallery, please ignore that.
Reference.
I know what it was, and I just want to be funny. Oh, one sec. Hey, Alright, just asked my brother if he wanted to get on, and he said no. Oh well. Oh, not sure if you've seen this, but he's, what's his face is taking a selfie with his holo self. Hi. Are you here? No. I'll just wait a bit.
Shit.
Oh, what's wrong?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, did your mic die a little?
No, I switched on headset mic though from on to off though because I wasn't sure how that was doing so because I can hear you, but the game's audio is just non-existent.
That's kind of weird. Anyway,
It is weird.
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna have to replace my headset, but probably won't be able to anytime soon because a lot of expenses and things though that I have to do.
If I can, maybe I can gift
Doing
you...
getting a new car, new friendship, friends though that I'm taking to the 5-star resort at Universal, since I work there and so can actually afford it. A bunch of other things as well.
If I can, maybe I can send you a headset as a gift from Amazon.
I mean, you don't have to, really, though. I mean, again, though, I don't want you spending money on me.
I just want to be nice.
I know, I get it, but you don't have to spend your money on me. Again, I have a job, though. I'll get it eventually. It just is not probably going to be, like, within next
good point.
week, basically.
And I don't have a... anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah, James is kind of...
Yeah, so it's just that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. It's just, again, just mainly that.
Yes. Oh, $1 billion. $1 billion.
No, and to think, though, that Aquaman actually also passed that, though. Like, when it did its run, though. I kind of personally felt it was well-deserved, because I actually still loved Aquaman after all that time, though. Saw it several times in the theaters, because even if it definitely has its issues, particularly, I would say, in tone, I always feel like I basically just loved for what it was there.
Yep.
Amber Heard actually ended up really making Mira feel like a character, which is something I always felt like a lot of other DC shows and movies never really managed to do, versus with this movie actually making her a character for it. Jason Momoa just having a lot of charisma to burn, and just in general, just really loving his performance of it.
You should hear what my brother, my brother's story about encountering Jason Momoa. Where was it? That you gave a high five to him? Which con was this?
One of the cons up in Salt Lake.
Yeah, one of the cons up at Salt Lake City.
Probably one of the Salt Lake cons.
Yeah,
One of the other ones.
yeah. So he was going to the bathroom. Is that right? And
Going on the way to the bathroom, I heard him coming out.
yeah. Jason Momoa was on the way and gave him a high five, just like that.
Well, that's really awesome, though.
Yeah, as probably as awesome as the selfie. Selfie.
I
had
often
with-
find, at least from a lot of the people who he works with, though, who he tends to leave on very good terms, though, and just describes him there sort of like a really hyperactive, just fun dude to be around.
Oh yeah, I retweeted a tweet where there was this meme where Henry Cavill, Anthony's over like Henry Cavill, and just like Jason Momoa just thinking about Soulless. That one Greek that philosopher with that starts in the S. I'll take a look. Socrates, yeah, Socrates. It was just like sneaking up, just sneaking up. It was great. I shared it. You haven't really explained your thoughts much about Captain Marvel. To be honest, I really liked it. Yeah,
I really loved it as well, though. I mean, I always say, just because I don't tweet or talk about something is never indicative of like either a like or not liking something, though.
Yeah,
it could just because I just get around to it, or I just didn't really feel like doing so,
or being busy. Yeah, so so interesting story.
Or just being really busy in my case.
My brother, my dad, and I went to the AMC theater minutes before it opened. We waited around, we got inside, and as soon as we get a chance to look at the seatings, most of them were taken. We had to take the
I know.
one.
That's the same what I happened to be, though. Like when it was basically going in for the Dolby Cinema one that at my local AMC almost completely sold out.
My brother wanted to add that all but 4 seats were taken. All but 4.
No, all but 5, because there was
5.
I mean, I was super lucky. I only had a few seats available when I went in, but they were only at the very front, so it wasn't as much as I wanted, because I don't like sitting in the very front of the theater.
I'm waiting on you to get ready. Sorry.
Oh, shit. Oh, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah, I get carried away with talking, but yeah, I was just in there. I really love that, especially I remember that me and the audience just screaming and applauding when we saw that Stan Lee tribute at the very beginning. That was just something to behold.
It was also a reference to a movie that Kevin Smith did.
Yeah, I would definitely say, though, it was definitely a great experience to have, and the audience regularly was just applauding everything that was just around it. It was just definitely something that was just a really amazing experience to have.
Yeah. I love the part where near the end where
I am ready. I
yeah,
hope you
where
are
Captain
too.
Marvel just basically just blasted the bastard that was her mentor in the face after.
Can't be
That
honest,
Freddie
I am
Williams
afraid.
moment.
Afraid.
Yeah.
Supposed to be
Just
the
kidding,
bad
nothing
guy
scares
trying
me.
to go
Carol
like,
Danvers,
oh
yeah, Carol.
man, we're gonna fight like honorable people.
And then
it's like, no, I
Graham-
don't have to prove anything.
Yeah, that's
That
why my
was
brother like he got a kick out of it and he saw that coming. It's like I knew that's gonna come. Is that right? Is that right?
Introducing your champion.
Where
This is why I say though. This is why I say personally that just because this is why I often don't like when people say predictability in a bad sense, or because from my experience, just because something is predictable doesn't really mean that the feeling of it goes away though. Like I still remember in the theater when I saw Star Wars: The Force Awakens though, it was like about 2 weeks after it came out. And even if basically all the signs were already saying that yes, though Han Solo is going to die
I feel
on
like it's a
that
bit late
bridge,
for that, but if you
I
want
still
to,
was
go
like
ahead,
feeling
because by the time we
dread
drop,
for
there's gonna be
something,
3-4
shit
spots
kind of
already
moment.
done.
Even though I knew it was coming, I just really wanted to go. And
Dropping
it was
in,
just
hang
like,
on.
oh, this just is like I really don't want to see this. Captain Marvel had that same feeling where even though I knew what she was about to do, I still freaking loved it, and I just was like in the rest of the theater just really loving what we were seeing.
It's already going to be a team right there.
And especially I liked though when it came to that post-credit scene where the two ended up where they're just waiting because the Avengers have no idea what this paper is, and then she just goes with the question of where's Fury, and you really see the sense of like anger with it because you can tell she also knows about the whole everyone turning to Ash thing.
Yeah, she looks more distraught than angry. What the hell did?
No, I kind of felt anger, but yeah, because these guys already got to the guns first. No, I would say for me, at least from my interpretation of the face, it sounded very like anger, like where's Fury?
I'm down.
And definitely, though, especially after seeing the second Avengers Endgame trailer, oh man, I can't wait to see how Captain Marvel and Thor interact with each other. I'm already just excited to see how that goes.
Yeah,
I like this one.
Have you seen this meme where like all Ant-Man has to do was go up Thanos' ass and then just go?
I just laughed at all those memes though because, truth be told, how does that not sound plausible?
And here
I
comes
don't know.
Thanos.
It's just something that definitely is a joke because it's certainly possible for him to do. So I can't really pretend like that's not one. Again, it was funny.
Yeah.
I especially was loving all of the new takes though, like outside because the original posters were already awesome, and definitely was just so sad to see that Fury ended up being proven to be killed by it. I knew that it was sort of a iffy kind of thing though, but having that poster confirm that she was in fact killed during those events, yeah, that was definitely sad to witness.
Sorry to put this out, but it looks like you're God damn it. Sorry, I'm seeing that you're at the speaker thing on the screen by your name. The other person might hear it. Awkward.
Yeah, honestly, for me, I just say the movie's been out for a month now, well, very close to a month. So for me, I just feel at this point though that I can basically already talk about the spoilers.
And my respawn timed out. Fuck.
My rule of thumb when it comes to spoilers is if it's in the very first week, like I'm gonna go see Shazam on Thursday. I already reserved my ticket and seat there. But when it comes to watching that, I'm not gonna talk about spoilers when it's in that first weekend opening. But after a month of it being over, I'm like, okay, I give you plenty of time to see the movie. You know,
I'm getting out.
I already know that there's plenty of people who actually just do not have time to see it. But at that point, I'm not going to hold myself until it seems like a DVD release because no matter how long you're waiting, there's just going to be someone who just didn't see the film yet. So after that month, if you still haven't seen it, I'm just going to be like, okay, I'm willing to talk about what happens. Because again, I can't operate on basis of
your connection
movie because
connection's kind of funny.
The person. Internet may be bad though. Internet's been kind of spotty lately. So yeah, that's where I go though. So I know that I can control who who hasn't and won't see the movie, but I at least can be. I just think that the main asshole thing is when you do so when they haven't even really had the chance yet.
Oh,
like
God.
again, like when it's opening weekend and nobody wants to go and be in crowded theaters.
Oh god, I remember.
I mean, I personally
yeah.
love crowded theaters. I always feel like a theater is the most alive when it has a lot of people in it. But I can understand why people don't want to be, again, those like day one super crowded, like almost, or in some cases, like the Last Jedi experience I had, completely filled theaters where there were no available seats. And I'm just like, yeah, I actually love that stuff. It makes the theater feel alive.
Yeah.
Like especially that Last Jedi experience I had though, Snoke's death or when Luke ended up doing that force projection thing, man, that was just something that the theater experience is we were like screaming and applauding, we were just going crazy. That for me is definitely a theater experience on a whole. That's why I love stuff like that.
Yeah, and Leia?
Oh yeah, and Leia, that whole scene was definitely great though, especially Avengers Infinity War, that scene where Thor just enters Wakanda, again, just like me in the theater, we're just screaming and just going crazy over it. It was freaking awesome to watch, and just hearing everyone just applaud the whole scene, and especially hearing everyone's reaction when the infamous snapping scene happens. It's just, again, like, we were just really taken aback with it. And just like with Captain Marvel, it's the same thing, though. Like, when we see the funny moments and all of us are just laughing our asses off, or to see the cool moments and just simply applauding. Shield. I love stuff like that. It's awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah.
That's why I like doing those. But again, I can understand why people don't like crowd theaters because they don't like being around, like, large groups of people, though, at any given time. I can respect that.
Especially my mother. She has a bit of a thing.
Yeah, I believe you guys mentioned somewhere like she has like some mental health issues though that are there, so I can understand how large crowds of people could potentially trigger those issues. So yeah, stuff like that is like I fully understand. Well, I get it. I don't want to say understand because I consider understanding when you've done it or have gone through it. So I'm like, I get that perspective, and that's where I'm like, okay, I can see why you wouldn't be in a crowd full of people because you have that kind of man, I don't want to be disrespectful, so I'm not sure what the word is for it. So I'm just gonna so that you just get the message.
Yeah. I know what you mean. It's. I was about to say that.
Again,
oh god! When I was playing Star Wars Open like that back around the Force Awakens release, people wanted to shout about the spoilers. I had to like.
Oh, I know. I got spoiled of Han's death before I even saw the movie, and I was like, dude, really? I mean, even if I was able to predict it happen, it's like, don't spoil it. I'm at least glad that the emotional impact was still as big as it could have been, but even still, I don't like being told this stuff in advance.
Oh, speaking of Star Wars, there's this weird poster thing going on. That people are claiming that it's real, and Malcolm was like, no, I think that's fake. It's definitely fake.
What happened?
I don't know. Personally, I always personally am really skeptical of any rumors. Leaks, I always say, unless that I actively see official word from someone, I don't take it. I mean, fair. Again, though, it always just comes down to basically just waiting to see if something is there. Like Battlefront 2, for instance, though, I still there was even just recently people who were trying to say supposed leaks that DICE was actually going to be scrapping Battlefront 2 and instead going to be and was already having Battlefront 3 in the whiteboards, and then Dennis Brenval, the senior franchise director, went in and said, no, that's bullshit, we're still working on Battlefront 2 and we're nowhere near finished with the game.
That's surprising.
So again, that's why I always...
You know what really want to see?
I honestly don't think so, because Battlefront 2 has consistently remained in the top 50 games. Sure, it is varied. I've seen it be as low as number 46. I've seen it as high with the Anakin Skywalker update, or Chosen update as they called it, and I even saw that being as high as even up to number 24 on most played games on Xbox. In general, Battlefront 2, as reported by Ben, has very healthy player numbers. Healthy player numbers means that people are definitely buying the microtransactions associated with it.
Oh, shit.
As long as a game has healthy player numbers, you will definitely be okay.
Yeah.
I go with what the
Yeah, speaking of...
I'll finish on it.
Sorry.
I'm just saying, just let me finish on this one,
Sorry.
which is mainly, I would say, if you ever
think
want to
we're
know,
going to do great, friend.
as for, or if there is any reason to be concerned about if the game that you like playing is in danger of dying or just in general not receiving added support anymore, you have to mainly look at 3 things though. One of them is, well, 4 things really, but no one thing is indicative of it, but if they're correlating, that means you have issues. It would be if someone who is officially, since we're talking about Star Wars, if neither the EA Star Wars Twitter or social media accounts or the official Star Wars accounts, like on the Star Wars show, they're not talking about it, if official employees of the companies on this, like in the case of DICE, if someone like Jay Ingram or Ben Walker, CJ or Beyond, the main hero designer, if none of them are mentioning or even talking about content, that's also another telltale that there's actually not any more content that's being made. Or if it's something else entirely,
Here we go.
as well as
Ready
those
up.
3 things though, or 2 things I just mentioned. Or also it can be another thing, like say if it's never being brought up in investors meetings and such.
Yeah.
So things like that though.
Yeah.
But since Ben has constantly said that anytime anyone is inquired about player numbers, even though he has never given specifics, he has specifically kept saying that yes, we're doing fine though, as far as player numbers are concerned, we're not in danger of dying. So
Not like
that's
Han
why
Solo,
I've never really
not
been
like Han Solo
concerned.
saying everything's fine. Because that was Ablin.
Yeah, it's sort of just like that. At
Sorry,
least
I
when
had-
it was at launch, I know, that was funny though. I can understand when it was something like at launch where it actually was very concerning as to whether or not anyone was going to, if the game actually was going to be cut for service though, because it did have a pretty abysmal launch though. I mean, not even just with not even just with how the launch happened, but also because it was having but also because the launch of it was just something that didn't do very well in sales. It did only like 7 billion sales that they did in the 3 months there,
Yeah, I thought it
which
did.
was much less than the previous game's 10 million sales.
So 2 things. So a couple things on my mind. So you play. So you tried out Anakin Skywalker in the update yet?
Oh, I did though. He's very fun to play. I really love playing as him. He's currently my new main favorite hero to play, with all of his stuff though. But for me, I would say that. I'm sorry, killing this guy.
Yeah. I don't blame you because I got killed and I think I got a little bit distracted. Okay, you know what? Face.
Yeah, I have a 2
Oh,
God.
no kill leader. Woo!
Looks like kill leader.
Oh shit.
This time.
Got me. Yep. Yeah, an automatic shotgun and got me though.
Oof.
The achievement for become the kill leader. So yeah, back to what I was saying though. But yeah, so things like that, like when it was the initial launch, that is something that I was in fact worried, like, oh, is this game going to receive support because it's not looking too good. But then when it came around to when Ben Walk started taking over, because the previous manager, community manager Sledgehammer, Sledgehammer 70, I believe he's called, where he eventually just quit the games industry altogether, and then Ben Walk took over, so communication started being good. Then that infamous EA Play incident happened where Dennis Brenval said, like, oh yeah, we're doing the Clone Wars now. And so now that it seems that run is done, so now it's just a question of when EA Play comes at E3, not to confuse it with an EA presentation, which a lot of people do, since EA Play is actually confirmed to be going up for E3, just not a press conference like normal. So waiting for that to see, and yeah, that's why I'm looking for things. Again, that's why always be very suspicious of anyone who tries to tell you of leaks, because the sort of person who has that, or another one actually, was one I learned very recently from Pellegrino, which was actually Super Shadow, who was a guy who was through the 90s and even much of the 2000s, who was constantly trying to say about how he had leaks to things like the prequel trilogy, as well as also claiming that George was working on the sequel trilogy as well, and they were all bogus.
Yeah.
And also constantly saying, I have confidential Lucasfilm people inside there. So I would say for leaks, you can look at them, but I always say take any of them with a grain of salt.
Yeah, so enough of that mind. Back to Bioware, you've read the response post.
This is your champion.
I read Yeah, I read that though, and again, it was just so disheartening to see that Anthem was causing that many issues for so many developers. Like, I honestly, because it was going in for here and there though, so I was assuming it was just a pet project. Shouldn't assume though, but at least it seemed like from the outside perspective, like it was just something that they was a pet project worked on here and there, but other projects kept ending up saddling them until they actually made a forefront of what they were doing. So I was not, definitely not prepared to see that news with so many developers.
Some people seem to be bashing Kotaku again. It's like, oh god, this is epic in-game journalism over again.
No, for me, I would say Kotaku was definitely right in publishing that, though, because again, I believe that if developers are in fact going through suffering, like as I said, where they're crying on that and so many people leaving, though, I think that yes, those stories, we have to hear them, though. I mean, I don't like to see when a favorite company of mine, though, with lots of talented people ends up suffering, but that's the stories we need to be told, and we have to be able to accept when things like that happen.
And like I said,
we have to accept and see the developers in that. Because we are not going to create because if you're going to create healthy environments, denying that there's bad shit going on is never going to solve anything. Yeah. Again, that's the biggest problem when people often talk about toxicity in games, and whenever any freaking developer, whether it's Blizzard or Riot or anyone else, regardless of what your views on them, whenever they have any sort of effort so that they can try to really try to go like, you know what, this toxicity thing, we have to put it down, and then people just try to be all freaking stupid and say you're trying to censor anything like that. It just feels like that for people who are trying to for some reason criticize Kotaku for trying to say like, hey, BioWare's actually just going through lots of crap though. Sure, production issues aren't exactly a new thing for BioWare. It's basically been their thing since as long as they've been making games. But, you know, maybe...
Your question, why do they always have production issues? Like, you mentioned that they already have production issues, and I actually reblocked the Tumblr post.
Probably it can mean really bad managers, but it also can very heavily mean producers. I would say for people who don't know what the producers are, they're basically the people who try to make sure that the game that is being worked on actually ends up succeeding. And so what happens is that if you see things happening in games, like say really bad bug launches, or just in general when games are getting constantly delayed, that's an issue. That's definitely can be emblematic of producers who either are not or cannot do their jobs. Which one of those it is, I don't know, but I have the feeling it's more of a producers who were not doing their job well.
As a Canadian dev, if Casey Hudson's returning to BioWare with fixing stuff, especially after Anthem and the troublesome launch.
Yeah, I was seeing from that though, and he just thinks that it's just not really a clear-cut situation because obviously he doesn't work there. But it's just that for all this though, I can very much understand where that is.
It seems like a lot of the drama just involves Andromeda and Anthem.
So yeah, it's just from things like that, and I just think there's
no clear-cut solution to all this. I remember like making a bit of a tweet, like saying everyone who still supports a fake Monikila after, you know, Funimation has kicked him out for all after they did their investigation, and people still, some of these assholes still defended him. I made a tweet about it, and like, if you double down on it, I will block you. And people just, some of these assholes just like
double down on. I'm sorry. Repeat. Double down on what exactly?
Ready and excited.
Vic Mignogna, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, for him though, I mean, even on MegaCon, because like as the convention that's there, and where I was seeing some of the people talking about it, and one of them was regarding Sabbath as a snake, because he also doesn't show up at conventions where Vic Mignogna is. And even when looking for that, especially with the big allegations, it showed me, even though it was much of something I didn't want to see, it's that he's actually, this is not really something that was ever a secret to people for a really long time.
Yeah.
He's always been an open secret, and even at a lot of conventions, there was often a lot of talk, though, of him, particularly around female guests, always being very creepy, like hugs. I've been told apparently, like, I think it was like kisses on foreheads or cheeks and such. And it's
Oh,
like,
God,
no,
that made me
you
a little
don't
sick.
do that ever.
Oh,
As far as
that made
hugs,
me
I
sick.
often feel
Oh
like-
god. Okay. When you actually said it, I was like, this is gonna be ugly. And when you actually said it like in full detail, it's like, I'm gonna be fucking sick.
I'm not making that up though.
I know.
told of several stories though.
Yeah,
that, and so,
I also had to see the stories myself.
So it was just really something I didn't want to see. I feel like hugs are something that I find more acceptable, but always make sure that the person
always
actually
ask,
wants to engage with that.
And
Yeah.
and
Like,
giving
again,
bunny
like,
ears
it's
for
just like
Lord's
with
actually
the-
under. Can I give you bunny ears because it's funny? That sort of thing.
Like what for funny?
Bunny ears.
Oh yeah. So it's just always things like that though. Like it's just always ask for permission though. Like I mean again, like when it comes to the female cosplayers who show up though at convention, I never just assume like, oh, they're just more than willing to hug me. That I usually just do handshakes again unless they demonstrate that they actually are comfortable with that. Like this one girl, Allison Tabitha, which you should go follow her if you have Instagram though. She's really awesome. Met her about twice, and I'm gonna meet her again when Anycon comes around since she's been confirmed as a guest. And so she's awesome though, and she just does hugs by default though. Like I just put on my hand like, oh hey, nice to meet you with a handshake. She's like, oh, I don't do
shit,
hugs though instead. So I'm like,
Can't
so
catch
I'm
me,
just
can't
like,
see.
okay, yeah, so that's fine though. Though I particularly remember the first time she did that. She was wearing sort of like plastic armor, but it was sharp around the edges. So whenever she hugged me, her boobs were basically just sort of like piercing into my skin. So I sort of had to like have my body in such a form so that the piercing was not.
Your
as
body
much
is
into my
definitely
skin,
not
though,
ready.
because
Your body's definitely not ready. What I had to
I
say.
mean, because unfortunately, I have sensitive skin, so things like that though can always like really bother me, even when it's like minor pinching to my shame. So yeah, things like that though. I mean, it was funny. Don't get me wrong. I didn't mind it. It's just that just made for a funny experience. I told her about that on the second one, and she's like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry," because again she was wearing armor though on that, and again she's just a really awesome person to be around. Like, it was in her. Inside her Tomb Raider cosplay, specifically on the Jennifer Lawrence movies. She admits, though, that unapologetically, she loves those freaking movies to death. And so she frequently cosplays as her as that. So I just go, okay, yeah, that's fine, bro.
Safety's off. Weapons
So
free.
it was just funny to see, though, like, and when I met her, though, because I noticed that her boobs also looked larger than I remembered them. So, like, even when we
It's
were
a
talking,
little much, to be honest. Wow, that's a little much.
No, it's not, because she had lots of questions. She had a lot of people say that, because even when I was talking to her, because again, she's fully self-aware of it. So I was just like, yeah, because I was just remembering, and I'm just like, okay, either I'm imagining things or your boobs were much bigger than I remember. She's like, oh yeah, I've even had friends and family
Follow my
who have
path
just said
to
things
win.
like, Hallie, did you get a boob job? And she's like, no, I promise you they're fake. They're just for the outfit.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like super fun. Again, she's just like super funny though. Just again, really sweet. And just in general though, I always say that if you could ever come down to MegaCon, because that's the place she frequents most, definitely go and try to hit her up though. She's so freaking awesome,
yeah, so
though.
Vic is.
And she also has a lot of. She's also known for having a lot of cosplay ones, because specifically her area is in making cheap, affordable cosplays, though things that you could basically make on a very small budget, and so she really helps out with those areas. So yeah, as I say, for things like that though, like she naturally does hugs though, but she always makes sure that you're actually comfortable with it though, so that she doesn't again just make you feel uncomfortable. That's always the main thing. Ask permission for anything.
Yep.
Because again, people can be like understandable though, because some people just don't like being touched at all. Like they're very against that though. Respectful, but yeah, hearing what Vic Mignogna is, it definitely didn't sound like concern was ever in his vocabulary or in his actions.
Level 2.
Or his middle
So
name.
yeah, it was just anywhere there though. So yeah, it was just again very unfortunate, because I've always loved the roles that he was in though.
I'm gonna have a
Again,
hard.
because-
I am gonna have a hard time watching Fullmetal Alchemist anime.
Fullmetal Alchemist with that.
Yeah.
I often can though, even when I carry that baggage of it. But yeah, I can understand for a lot of people why it just has this feeling like I can't watch it. I feel like trying to watch a Kevin Spacey movie after that.
Yeah. So Netflix fired Kevin Spacey I think for
Yeah,
Spidey.
from from House of Cards. Although in the books they were able to easily do so. In the books, his character actually died, so it made it a big. Yeah, it's just like a really big situation. It sucks though because I actually did like Kevin Spacey's movies though, and it's just that it was just such an unfortunate situation to go and learn that he was, especially that disgusting move where he tried to hide like, hey guys, I'm gay, so what I did was actually acceptable, and a lot of people, especially, just like, no, we are not having that shit.
I can't believe they actually did that. It's like, if that's supposed to be unrelated, that's some bad fucking timing.
Taking a moment to recharge my shield.
Definitely, though. It's just that, yeah, shit like that. So that's where things with that, I fully understand why someone would be saying, like, yeah, you know, I can't really enjoy movies or shows or whatever that this person was in with that knowledge, though. I fully get that. I mean, even though I love listening to Michael Jackson's music, I definitely, because even though I still was aware of this even before that recent documentary about, like, his whole child thing, though, where even if I can love his music, yeah, there is often that feeling of just really not liking the person, though, and it's just, that makes you wonder how he can actually say what he does on even on national television and not really seem to be on any level thinking like, yeah, you know, this is a bit weird. Just, oh, I think sleeping next to children is totally acceptable. When my mindset is, unless you're that kid's parent, no, that is not. That's fucking creepy.
Yeah.
Even if he didn't actually do anything sexual, like he didn't molest them or anything, that's still fucked up and not acceptable.
Yeah, I'm gonna also have a hard time listening to his music as well. It's like,
I don't personally do. I can listen to any of his tracks, like, and still enjoy them, though.
Yeah.
It's just, again, though, yeah, it's just that whenever the subject of the person comes
it's like at the back of my mind.
It's just a big.
This is gonna be awkward. That's what it's, well, awkward. And
I mean, this doesn't even feel like a case of like a creator who just is maybe a complicated person, though, who just has just, you know, some things of it, though, because I do feel that a lot of work, though, unfortunately ends up just constantly trying to make people into deities, though. Yes, don't make gods out of men, but also don't turn them into devils either.
You get that? Do you think that's more from somewhere? That's like came from somewhere, and it's pretty inspiring.
I mainly actually got that from Escapist, though, from because I know you don't like him, though, from Movie Bob, though, when he did his memoriam of the original Nintendo director, where he was talking about him, though, and said that even though that he was a man who was very ruthless in his business tactics, it was just that he was saying, though, that yes, we shouldn't be turning men into gods, though, but also that we should not be so quick to demonize him either, where he brought up Walt Disney, where, like, yes, even though that he was definitely a creative force and brought what you see today, though, and is definitely a huge pivotal point in animation, but unfortunately did have his bad stuff associated to them. He was unfortunately had his racist stuff, though, associated with him. Claims of anti-Semitism, although there's no real evidence that he was any more, or sadly not really any less, anti-Semitic than other Americans, but it was just that unfortunately because of the fact that he wasn't basically
he was just a guy of his time.
That
a man of his time?
Yeah, a guy of his time, though, for that. Or even someone like J.R.R. Tolkien, though, where things of that where Lindsay Ellis brought up in her her video
it's like,
like
about
just
like, oh, that's
like
gonna be
all
awkward.
The dark-skinned race, all the dark-skinned humans are siding with Sauron, though, and because again he was a man of his time during the height of colonialism, so he didn't really think much of it, though, at the time. And it's just as Lindsay Ellis said, though, and I feel like a lot of people should just apply this to creators of different times, though, which is we're not saying that they're bad people, just that they're good people at the time.
Welcome, being shot at.
Although, unless we're talking about, as you said, like the Thomas Edison, that guy was just straight up evil, no question about that. Like, sure, there are just straight up just really trashy reviews. Like, again, how Thomas Edison was always just terrible to basically everybody who, everyone who just knew, basically. Or even Isaac Newton, for that matter, who was also a huge ass for people.
Contact with hostile.
Reloading. Took out an.
Could you cover me? I'm charging my shields.
Making contact with enemy.
1 second.
Okay, I'm good. Oh, oh fuck.
I am taking fire.
Oh, she doesn't have any shields. Oh shit, you're down too? Oh. Oh fuck. I did my best, dude. I really am sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah, it's just that I should have paid more attention though, but I was just so busy on trying to get more ammo because I was so low.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
Yeah. But yeah, I should have been more aware or at least trying to be faster.
Hey, do you like how my Pathfinder looks? I got it from the Twitch Prime pack. Got that along with 5 Apex packs. He's a he's a nice robot. Ugh. Sorry, stretching. Oh, you might want to leave the match. I'm still seeing you in the match.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I always think I'm leaving these matches because, you know, I'm always used to normal games, though, where I just leave the match automatically instead of manually.
That's a little annoying, but not much of
It's not annoying, it's just something that it's just a matter of getting used to.
Yeah. Oh, have you heard of... I talked about Critical Role a couple times. They're doing, like, an animated show out of it. Let me check Kickstarter real quick, because they made about $8 million. I'm not kidding. $8 million for their animated adaptation of... 8,460,000.
Yeah, I actually think I came across that, though, for it, though. And I was definitely just really happy that the guys at Critical Role are doing that. At least from what I can see, Matthew Mercer and all the rest of the people who go is that they're just known as a great group of folks, and they're just really just being as nice people as they can be.
Wow, this way they wow. Oh, you might want to get ready.
Oh, sorry.
I have to say,
again, I'm just always used to automatic stuff.
Yeah. I'm stunned. They're gonna reach their final goal in no time of $8.8 million. That's... wow. I'm speechless. I'm going to Gibraltar.
Ready to go.
Yeah, my brother and I had a bit of trouble what accent he is, and then as soon as I found out that he was as I saw his melee weapon, I was like, oh, Pacific
Ready
Island.
up. It's go time.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, thanks for retweeting this guy called Game Over 30. Been reading more of his tweets though, and definitely seems like someone who at least offers at least a more sane perspective.
Yeah, I think my friends has gotten really insane over. That's why I'm just so tired.
Too, but you'll be dead.
Oh, you're the jump master. Yeah.
Man, I'm getting constant jump masters though.
I say we
Yeah, what is with? Oh, wait.
Like, this is the most amount of times I've ever been assigned as the jump master.
This is a good outfit. Hold on tight. It's time to drop, shock, and rock.
Oh, yeah, that's just with a lot of instances though. Yeah,
why are
definitely a lot of things
they? Yeah, why would they?
though.
They were. They either made them devils, or they just. Wow.
It's just the thing about that I really wish that we could just really just view people that we do like though as just being deeply flawed human beings who just had their own piece of bad shit though, whether it was in their past or even when they were still alive though.
Or something going on right now.
Yeah, it's just things like that though. I mean, again though, like and also I never want to mistaken if there's one thing about it, I never want to mistake in complication with straight up bad shit though that that they were doing specifically again in the case of Vic Mignogna shit.
It's something my brother told me last night in a pretty heavy conversation. I warn you, it's heavy. Like, never shoot malice when there is stupidity, and I think there's just a lot of stupidity. Never tribute malice when there's more likely to be stupidity. I'm paraphrasing this.
Hanlon's razor. Hanlon's razor.
Yeah,
don't attribute to malice what could equally be explained by stupidity. Yeah, things like that though, which is always something that I always think about though whenever we try to do for this though, because again, when it comes to people, I always look at people with a sense of optimism though, even if I would say does that make me in some respects naive or maybe leaves me prone to other issues.
My brother will actually
Could,
agree with you
sure,
about
but-
you being optimistic about people because he said something pretty similar.
New kill leader.
So I would say I tend to be more optimistic when it comes to people, though. I'm aware of the flaws that surround it, but I personally accept them for what they are, though.
Do you think I?
Again,
yeah.
I-
Do,
no,
yeah.
again,
Do you
no,
think
'cause
it
I
came
never
off as
did. But-
a bit too cynical? I think it might be a bit
No,
too.
I can understand why the cynic mindset comes in, though, because again, a lot of people, and especially because your brother, since I don't fully understand his own experiences, though, it's just a lot of things, though, that can go into, because when someone's cynical, there's never just I just did it because. There's often a lot of sense of because they went through things that made them disillusioned in people or some other thing that's happened. And I personally can't blame him for really going to that decision.
Yeah.
So I always just say if he
Yeah,
is
he's
that
actually
way,
he's actually a bit more
not if, he is
optimistic
that way.
about people, given his misgivings about them every now and then. I
So
think that's
I always say though that it's an understandable one though. I mean, again, from how that is formed, even if I don't agree with it, I just can't use that quote from Solo to kind of describe cynicism. I don't like it, I don't agree with it, but I accept it.
You're not a fan of Solo?
No, I love the movie, but I'm saying it reminds me of that quote though from there when it refers to mindsets like cynicism that even if I don't like or agree with them, I can accept them because again though I just think that it comes down to what exactly is the life experiences of people there though. I can somewhat become suspicious though with, depending on if someone demonstrates to me that that maybe it's not really founded on more legitimate things. As like for an example, when it comes to people who often tell me as to why their relationships fail, I tend to usually give them the benefit of the doubt and usually just think it goes though.
Yeah.
But in some circumstances, it makes me sometimes feel like it's not coming from a normal place. Like, for example, on my Facebook, though, since I still have a lot of friends and family who use that, and even a lot of my coworkers use it. One thing that I found, though, from, like, one guy who I was friends with in high school, who I still follow, who was saying, like, I really don't like it when girls end up conflating me acting nice with flirting. I become very suspicious when I'm told of guys who try to claim that I was just being nice, because often for me, nice ends up translating to you end up acting quote unquote nice in areas that just really feel unnatural.
Yeah, it's like just act like a normal person, damn it. Or as normal as could be these days.
Again, I don't know of his particular experience, so maybe though it's not so maybe there's more to it. But in general, whenever I find things of that, it's more of just because you seem to act unusually nice to some girl though who's basically around though, or just in general you do actions or they notice you act differently around them than other people. So I would always say things like that ultimately inform whether or not someone's going to end up seeing if what you're doing, if whether it seems to be based on some sort of attraction or something else entirely.
Yeah.
Again, though, but I always say it's a case-by-case thing, though.
Yeah.
Things like that, or another thing, like whenever a guy wants to go and try to tell me, or someone else, though, bring on some sob story about how I can never get girls, then I just go, okay, so what kind of girls are you into, though? And then they show me that they're going for, like, the 8s, 9s, and 10s in your social circles, and then I just think to myself, this is what I'm supposed to feel sorry for you over, because you're basically trying to get laid by the hottest girls there. I mean, there's nothing wrong with going for the hot girls, though, but, you know, depending on, unless your body type is a match, like, for theirs, like, if it's some super hot girl, like, and you don't have abs, maybe try to tone down your standards a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm never going to petition you don't have standards, but just in general, just try to be realistic with the kind of girls you're going after. And if you're just going to constantly only go after the hottest girls in your social structure, you're basically just going to doom yourself to failure.
Yep. Anyway, I just hope things turn around for everybody involved. That. Sorry, it's just,
and BioWare, yes, because I
really
am optimistic that they will, especially after this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
It's just that it just feels really grim and just uncertain. It's just like Damn it. And people are acting crazy over it. That also depresses me.
Again, unfortunately, it's it comes with the dark side of revealing bad stuff. When it's like it's good that someone reveals that bad stuff though, around it, but the dark side.
Yeah,
to that
and I think the author of the article gets a little defensive at times. Just like you just.
Who do you mean, Jason Schreier or the person
Jason
who wrote
Schreier.
that
It's
BioWare?
Jason Schreier. I guess I appreciate that. What
Again,
he's
people
appreciate
tend to
that.
be defensive when it comes to being criticized. I mean,
everybody
I
gets
do think,
defensive.
though, that
It's
at
just
times though.
everybody gets their nerves
I do
touched when
feel like
they
at times.
Yeah, when they get nervous, and I get nervous when someone points out something to me. It's like, fuck.
I mean, personally, I do think though that from that I could definitely see from there, because I also felt like BioWare was also somewhat dismissive though when it comes to that, of trying to say like we're trying to do better, but you know we sometimes don't feel maybe as bad as that. So I can see exactly why someone would just feel like it was why Jason Schreier could be like that, which again it can feel dismissive though, but even still, I do know that Schreier is that his place is definitely
His heart is in the right place, but it's
from
just complicated. Life can be complicated.
complicated out there. Because trust me, for Schreier, he's definitely one of the few people who seems to actually try to dispel fake news in games media. Like, I still will infamously remember where
and I still find people still be dismissing of him, and even though I kind of blocked him because he's just like, of everyone being either dismissive or vindicative. I'm getting fucking tired of that.
Things like that, because again, I would say because Jason Schreier, like, even if you can have his bad spots, though, again, he's human. He's not going to be perfect, and again, it's why I don't aim for that. But in general, he shows to be a good track record, and it consistently shows that he actually does hold integrity in what he does. Same can't be said of YouTube journalists.
That's a good point. Did our ally just punch me? Okay.
I don't know. So yeah, that's why it's things like that, though. From there. And it's why I personally give him the benefit of the doubt on these things.
Yeah. I really just do hope people just come up better than before. Really getting tired of the...
Yeah, I definitely hope, though, and I have a sense of optimism that BioWare will certainly learn from its mistakes on there. At least, again, it's more of a hope, though. The future obviously can be uncertain and such. So if they don't, I'll feel disappointed, but I'll choose to live the optimistic route, and that things for them will improve, especially after that whole stuff was there, though. Because I also think this could be a case of BioWare just really hired the wrong managers for it. I mean, Casey Hudson was overall fine. Again, he led many of those projects, but just feels that maybe that BioWare Edmonton ended up hiring some really bad managers, though.
Yeah, I think Aaron Flynn was... Aaron Flynn had some... Yeah, the BioWare under Aaron Flynn wasn't up to snuff. At least later on after Dragon Age Inquisition, because I heard I keep on... It's really... What's really strange is because people just keep pointing to Frostbite as if it's the cause of all the problems. It's like, are you sure?
People always want to blame this or that thing for whatever issues, and again, because I found a lot of consumers saying like, oh, it's something when after the did that super funny which I almost watched.
Oh crap! I did not mean to use the ultimate. I am an idiot.
Whoops! I still remember that for what happened.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
At least I used my ultimate on them. But yeah, so I still remember that what ended up happening was that I saw one of them on Asking post where someone was trying to say like, oh, you're being dismissive of people who have genuine concerns. I go, because for consumers, a lot of the concerns they have are not really. So it tends to be why I don't really take them personally. Again, like when it comes to things like TLC, basically, where these people always want to talk about like how it shouldn't have to pay for this or that thing, even though that someone's actually working on.
Yeah, I'm really sorry for my little outburst of laughter. It's just like I accidentally used my ultimate. It's like,
no, I know. I have had that happen where sometimes I end up misusing an ultimate thing. I'm like, no, I shouldn't have. It's just like, oh my god.
I meant to use a shield, damn it. That's gonna be a highlight. Yeah. Yeah, I've actually met, there's this one person who seems convinced that they're like hit pieces after a Bioware, and reading them, although Bioware seem dismissive, it's not hard to think that there are just so many, there's so much piling on them. You can't exactly blame them for that little remark.
And in general, it's just, again, when it came to the backlash for Anthem, it just, again, makes me just feel a sense of being tired, because of people just, in general, just acting really childish over something that, at the end of the day, I would say really does not matter. I mean, trust me, I love Anthem though for what it is though, but in the grand of things, to get hyper negative or just in general hyper angry over a game, it's just something that's really unhealthy, and just in general, just strikes me as just a big, like, really? I mean, again, from all those things, like, people complain, like, even vanilla Destiny 1 had more content on there, and I just kind of go, and I played the first Destiny, and I was just so bored of it. Even
Anthem has more stories than the first Destiny, the vanilla version. Like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I'm not you as in like, not you. It's just like this person, hypothetical person or whatever.
Ready
Because I've seen a lot of
There's a
people
win out
say
there
that,
waiting
and in
for us.
general, I just, again, even as I've grown older, I just could never understand where the mindset comes
I'm
where
ready.
someone just essentially
Let's get the
goes
job
like,
done.
well, the game really isn't all that good, the gameplay's pretty mediocre, but because there's a lot of content, it feels like it makes up for it. I just go, no, if I'm not having fun, more content isn't going to solve anything.
Yeah.
To use a food analogy on this, if I'm eating
This
a
is your
pizza that just
champion.
tastes really mediocre, I'm not gonna go, well, you know, I got
Yeah,
five
I got-
slices out of it,
yeah.
so therefore it's better. So it's just things like that where I'm just like, no, the pizza sucks. It's not gonna make it better if I eat more of it.
Yeah. Apparently the
Or it's like if I'm at a restaurant and I like ask for a steak though, that's like
This
just
might
a
be a good
medium,
place
and
to
then
land.
they serve me a rare. I'm not just gonna go, well, the steak's pretty
Get ready.
big, so therefore
Moving
I'm
out.
fine with it. I'm like, no, the steak tastes awful. I'm not gonna finish it.
I actually been enjoying quite a lot about Fall 76. There's the Fashion Out limited time event, and I got some neat masks out of it. I kind of had to start over with one of my characters because a quest line pushed out, which is really annoying. The only thing that
I mean, that's the thing with it, is that, like, even though I don't play Six, and maybe I will go back in the future, but in general, though, even though I say I personally don't like where it is right now, though, I just wish people have that the reaction I have to it, which is where I don't really talk about it, though, and it's just in general, I let the people who are loving it just love
It's
the
just-
game.
I-
I
yeah.
mean, again, and it's something that really frustrates me when it comes to this, though, as the inevitable sea lining of this, though, or whatever comes of it, where someone tries to say, oh, so what, you're saying I can't criticize? No, you idiot. I never said that you couldn't criticize. My problem, though, is the way you're doing it.
I actually told this
I
told
really
this
hate
person
that because
like
it always
yeah,
comes
life's too
across
yeah,
as
life is
super
too short.
disingenuous
Just
when they
yeah.
say that.
You probably heard a thing or two about the Weekly
Yeah.
Diamond Comics. She was really peeved about it, and I made a joke like, with a name like Venom, I'm surprised at the relationship. I would be surprised if the relationship isn't anything but toxic. You get it, Venom? Toxic relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
I
was a
know,
little
it's just
irritated
things
first.
like
Yeah,
that,
she
though.
was so irritated that she didn't get it first. So I had to explain the joke and then why I did it. You know, take the edge off, and then tell that life is too short to get worked on these sort of things, and just enjoy the things that you enjoy.
It's just that's what I don't understand, because like even if I say something like, say, Suicide Squad or Miss Bala, where even if I could say like, yeah, even though I do think these movies are really bad or even terrible, you still would never hear me say the words I hate this movie or I hate this game, because that for me requires a level of emotional attachment I'm just not willing to have though on it.
Yeah.
Because that sort of thing that you do want me to have an emotional attachment on, if you've seen my Twitter feed as of recently, it's the criticism that surrounds it, which actually comes much closer to actually pissing me off.
What pisses you off about it exactly?
Mainly, like, when it comes to the Mauler types, though, when I see people like that, or just in general seeing film criticism on YouTube as of late, like, that's the sort of thing that actually makes you say, I hate this creator or what they do, because of specifically of where that trend can end up going to.
Yeah.
Because I would say, because for me, I was in the height of the anti-SJW content boom. I know what it was like when you are of a super impressionable age, and so you just buy these creators thinking that they're being straight with you. And yeah, like, especially in the Adidas Sarkeesian thing, yes, I was also on that.
My brother actually
mentioned,
my brother actually mentioned about, like, something similar. He said, so he talked about, like, how insidious and easy it is to join a cult. And how hard,
like, I was in high school when all that was going down, though. So for me, I was just buying it, just going like, oh yeah, it seems legitimate. Though not really even end up knowing that basically that everything that I was thinking was legitimate actually was not, though.
Speaking of Anita, Anita, she made a tweet that it's like she seems, at least I think, relieved that more and more people are more appreciative of her work. And I
mean, I still have to watch the full videos in full. I just haven't really felt like it because, again, I'm just feeling so tired of it. But when I would see other people who would just go like, actually, if you go just a little bit farther in that clip that they cut off, you actually see that she addresses the point that they say she doesn't talk about.
Yeah.
And it's just, I'm gonna get around to watching it at some point.
She does a pretty good job. She does a pretty good job with her points. Though at times it's like, you might be missing a few. You miss a few points that, like,
never make gods out of men, though. But I would say it's what you're sort of describing, where if she gets some points wrong, she tends to often come into this, though, and she consistently just always talks about things that are actually fine, though.
She's a lot more good than bad. She is definitely a lot more good than bad. She's like, you miss a few details, but otherwise you're good.
Yeah, exactly. A thing like that, though, where it's like, okay, maybe you missed the point here and there, or maybe you just didn't understand it, maybe because of some philosophical difference. But overall, it's like, your heart's in the right place, though, and at least I can appreciate where you're going from with this.
I am really tired of, like, people like Angry Joe, because from what I've heard of him, he's an asshole. Like, although he buried back with Joe, oh shit. The guy who did who did the oh fuck.
Reloading.
Oh, knocked one of them down.
Oh, thank God.
Got the other one down.
Whole squad's down.
Good work.
I heard that. That really made me happy. Good job, really.
Oh, no problem. I'm actually even surprised I did that. But anyway, Jeff who? I'm sure. Sorry, it doesn't seem to ring any bells.
The host who did the Game Awards. I have to.
I honestly don't know. Yeah, I can't go. I really wish I had an extended mag. Down to.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just that from what it is, though, I have no judgment as far as who he is as a person. And even if I can sometimes find him funny, the problem I have with him is just that he really does not understand what he is talking about, even though he tries to insist
pretty much like
any
other YouTube with like an angry persona or whatever.
Yeah, like Yong Ya or Jim Sterling or a lot of these other people.
Yeah,
Again,
Chisui has some really good viewpoints. It's just.
I mean, he has at least had some good views, like, say, when it came to Battlefield 5 and also him pushing back against this whole, like, the whole basically nonsense that was surrounding
mermaids,
it around feminism and such.
mermaids.
He was there, so he was able to at least do that. So I was, so I appreciated that.
Yeah.
But what I really end up disliking is often when he ends up having some sort of thing, like when some game is very short, like the 4 hours thing that people find funny, which isn't for me, because whenever I hear people who criticize a game for being very short, it comes across to me as very inconsiderate of people who cannot afford to dump so much time in a game.
That's a very good point.
Like, I mean, like for a lot of people though that I often see on the internet though, who often talk about though when it comes to a game that tries to say, oh my god, we have like all this content, and people who are so busy and they're like, look, I can't really get through all of this. Maybe I can get through the main campaign and such, but not much more than that. Or even people like, for even Spider-Man PS4, where a lot of people just would be like, no, I only have like an hour left, I'm just not going to feel like it. And I have that all the time too, though. Like on day I'm about to go to work, and I'm just like, you know, I only have an hour and a half left. I'm not going to play Battlefront 2 because I feel like I just don't have the time to really enjoy it fully.
Yeah.
I mean, the same even happened for me with Red Dead Redemption 2, where I love Red Dead Redemption 2. I think it's an amazing game, but because of how much content there is, it would often feel like a race against time when it was on a day that I was either working
Powered
or
up
going
and
to
ready
school.
to go.
Yeah. I want to talk a bit about politics. You know, Senator Mike Lee. Oh my God!
I know of him. I don't know much of him, but I
pretty
know
good
of
at
him.
this.
Yeah, you probably heard about this
I do
argument
like it, but
about
not this time.
the nuclear deal. Even I can like. Have you seen the video with him going on about like Star Wars, the Jontons, and
Oh, that thing. Okay,
This
now I
is
remember
your
what you're
champion.
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hulk,
I
yeah,
actually,
with
I didn't see the full video, only bits and pieces, but I went, no,
Even-
no,
yeah,
no, why would you do that?
I support the spirit of the New Green Deal, but I think there's just
Maybe we land
something
here.
slacking in it,
Maybe we don't. I'm
that
fine with
even
whatever.
I can come up with better arguments against the New Green Deal than he does. It's like
This is the best part.
I actually like called his office. Tell one of his office aides, like, tell him that he's an idiot.
You're playing Raid? Get the fuck off me.
What the hell did I just hear?
Oh no, that's just my brother. He's just messing with me.
I did not need to hear that. Oh my God. That is. I really do hope that. I really hope that will get into trouble.
You are the guy who likes you there.
I really hope I don't get trouble. I really do hope I don't get in trouble for this. Oh my God. Oh fuck! It's on the other side.
I was so close to killing this angle.
Here I come to save the day. Okay, I got him.
So yeah, I'm so back to the but yeah, as far as even if I would say that even if I don't think it's definitely not perfect by any means.
Yeah,
I support it though.
Yeah, I support the spirit. I really support the spirit, but there are some little things that made me go, are you sure that's gonna work? Anyway.
But honestly, I'm willing to support it because it's the only thing anyone is doing to actually address our climate change issue. The rest of the world has already been going, yeah, you know, we should actually do something about this.
Yeah,
and because this is the only option currently, unless I see something better, I would just say I'm just gonna go with it.
Yeah, there are actually some legitimate organizations that have criticized the Green New Deal because the like say the offsuits might be too much and stuff, and yeah, we're getting way into politics, and that could really drag along. You're like one of those reactionary asshole YouTubers. So heyo.
Yes, I feel like definitely like a lot of things can very much be improved better, but I can't really afford to just wait and only support something that aligns 100% with me. So I would say if a course of action like this, which is definitely when my other option is no course of action, I'm gonna take something like this though instead. Even if there are parts I disagree with.
There are, I think a lot of people in Congress is actually looking to the solutions and stuff. Didn't make it into Senate because
That's what I would want to
Time to
see.
win and
Because
stay
yeah,
alive.
like a lot. Because definitely as I grow older, I definitely don't believe in the whole centrism stick, which I was even buying for a while. Because I often find that just sort of like working itself,
sometimes
it's just something where you
sometimes
never end up
compromising.
really
Sometimes
doing
yeah, sometimes compromising is necessary just to keep things moving. And it is an ugly
there.
business.
I can fully understand not wanting to eagerly take a side because you don't want to be an ideologue. Trust me, I very much become guarded to make sure I
Get
don't
ready.
end up
I'm
doing so.
coming for you,
Like,
friend.
even though I would never call myself a feminist, I at least can support some of the goals. So
I
that they go
really
around
do.
and go,
I
that's
feel
reasonable."
I feel myself as a bit of as quite a feminist because basic human fucking decency. Sorry for this. Oh hey,
The jump master.
finally
No,
I'm the jump
Let you
master.
down,
But-
except by falling.
But I would say it's just that for me, I don't like taking labels because again, I don't like putting myself inside groups. Though I could support their causes without taking a label on. But I would say though,
Yeah.
at least that's how I view it. So I
Hey,
would say
wanna
for
go to
things
the
like that,
artillery
though,
station?
This might be a good place to land.
it's up to you. I'm just going where you go.
Alright, let's go over there.
So yeah,
Here we
it's
go.
just
It's a long drop. Fun.
stuff like that though, which basically just goes around with though.
Yeah.
Uh,
It really is human nonsense.
First blood, and it's not us.
It's unfortunately something there. It's not the first this has happened, and it definitely won't be the last. It's just really exhausting when it does happen.
Especially when it happens something that you for a thing. It's like
Definitely.
that's
Like
really
you
hurt.
just wish that it could just be better, and that you just wish that there wasn't any sort of the stuff that we often see going around. Like it really sucks to see it, but unfortunately we still have to face the reality when it does though.
Yeah.
Because what's worse than not taking action is denying that a bad thing is happening. Again,
Next
it's
ring
just
is
like though
quite
when we
far.
have instances like the Vic Mignogna thing, which is that we have to acknowledge of the thing happening though, rather than just being in denial because of some superficial reason.
Yeah, and I got piled on. For what exactly?
I mean, I saw like you even had 7 comments when you even said if you support Vic Mignogna, I'm going to block you.
Yeah, and double down
because,
on you.
Yeah,
And block
I
them.
couldn't really.
Yeah,
I mean, I really couldn't do it elsewhere, and I especially find those people are not in the best position because I can promise you, they end up doing the same just with a different person. If you just swapped out Vic Mignogna with if you support someone like say Anita Sarkeesian or Hillary, block you, these people won't end up having too big of an issue.
Okay, kill
So
her.
again, I don't really
enemy.
I don't really regard that as the most legitimate thing.
Yeah, it's just...
Yeah, that's where my line is though for it. It's just we have to, if we're gonna fix problems, we have to address that they actually do exist. Otherwise, we're just not gonna get anywhere.
Yeah. Though to be fair, I kind of like blocked Jason and muted Kotaku because they could be a little annoying with the clickbait stuff, like anywhere else, really. You know what I mean? It's like,
I mean, yeah. Again, though, it's why I don't aim for perfection. I just merely aim for, are they actually someone who, at least on average, ends up showing that they actually report news well. Again, I never aim for perfection, just that on the general can they do so.
Kotaku's hit or miss.
That specific...
Yeah,
it's
but,
particularly why I ended up unsubscribing from Yang Ya, though. Particularly because instead of trying to do normal journalism like he was doing during the Metal Gear Solid 5 days, he really started going into the sensationalism part of journalism, and that just put me away, though. Like, I always will remember, though, how he basically, when Battlefront 2 was finally reintroducing its crystals, though, after many months, because they managed to hammer their microtransaction system down, and tried to pass them off as news, even though that news was several months old, and anyone who even remotely cared about the game already was aware of it.
Yeah, I'm okay with the cosmetic.
It just came across
cosmetic stuff. It's like,
or that how he always just throws a bitch fit whenever anything a game has involves microtransactions, which always is just something that's a big. Dude, really, you're complaining about something that if it were free, you would never have given a shit about. Calm down.
Yeah, like making a mountain out of an anthill. Is that the right term? Right
Essentially. Yes. Yeah, that's the term for it.
Not a term, saying, yeah.
Yeah, things like that.
I was just like, just I was just like, just fucking stop and
We're not close.
I don't know.
Might be something good this way.
Sorry, I'm.
Helmet here.
Now, stuff like this has just made me exhausted as well because, again, the worst thing is that YouTube constantly recommends me
The
this
ring
stuff.
isn't very close.
I recommend
45
there's an
seconds.
extension that I use. It's called hide recommendations. It's not perfect. It kind of messes up the layout and stuff, but
Is that on computer? Because I don't see that anywhere on mobile on the mobile app though.
yeah, only on computers for Chrome. Never mind. Sorry.
Reloading.
Yeah, because I don't really use the computer version of things.
Yeah, do you? So you don't go on the computer that much?
I do use the computer, just not really for YouTube, since the app is something that I just prefer watching on my phone or my TV rather than
Oh god,
rather
that's
than
gonna
my,
be really
my
annoying.
computer.
So I just
Yeah,
I
it
can
is, though,
only much
especially the
as-
TV version, because it gives me the best quality, and it's often the format I like watching most. But when recommended videos of obnoxious YouTubers come up, I end up just having a whole bunch of getting that stuff, though, and I can't unrecommend. But every time I go to the mobile app to try to do so, it gives me a super hard time to just say not interested. Like, I have to constantly, like, search for the right videos that I can eventually get there.
yeah, and this you probably heard, yeah, you probably heard about what happened in
Come and get your
Christchurch.
friends.
Fucking Christ, and
Yeah,
the
I
shooter
definitely heard of that shit.
Incoming
and the-
care
and the-
package. I love
and the
loot.
shooter moments before he killed these people.
Why for that one though? Yes. And unfortunately, though, it's just from that though, and his lack of a response definitely just comes across to me as just disgusting
Yeah,
in general.
yeah, my brother thinks he's a fool for not taking any sort of responsibility.
Thank you.
Honestly, this is the thing that I dislike, though, is this, definitely it feels like a much bigger shift, though, now than it was then, which is now to try to pass off anything that you do as just a joke, and to think that because it's a joke, it has no sort of, it has something that has no impact later.
It has a a root.
Again, it's something that honestly pisses me off because it always comes across to me as illegitimate. Like, you're just using it because you're just trying to cover your own ass.
Yeah.
You can't accept responsibility that you did something
I could use
shitty,
that.
so instead you're just going to lampshade it. And just say, oh man, it was just a joke. Why are you taking me so seriously? You certainly were wanting me to take you seriously not too long
he
ago.
has what, 90 million subscribers? And many
Not
of his,
million, he's like over 60 million.
I thought it was 90 million. Anyway,
Oh, 90 million, yeah.
he has
Thanks.
many members of his audience are what? Kids?
Kids or like, yeah, something like between mid to late teens, basically.
Fucking A. I'm sorry, it's
Again, this is why I really dislike stuff like this, though. And again, even people like, I still remember Mahler, who was basically constantly calling Joseph Anderson a faggot, and then basically was just trying to think, though, oh, it's cool, though, because I was meaning it as a joke, even though it's like, no, we saw from the context you were intentionally meaning that to be insulting, and then tries to go like, oh, man, I was just joking. Why are you taking me seriously? Because I knew you were not joking. And again, tries to play off this whole, like, oh, I'm sorry you feel that way, which again is always something. If you want to piss me off, though, I'll try to throw an apology my way that goes something along the lines of, I'm sorry you feel that way, because it's not a legit apology. You're just trying to shut me up.
yeah. And
Or
I know
especially when it
this
came
is-
to
yeah,
Eric
this is-
Clapton,
yeah,
when
this is-
someone
yeah,
was...
this is gonna get personal. One other thing that gets exhausting. I talked about it with the others. Talked about it in chat. Want to get off my chest. Oh shit! Oh, Reen's coming in.
I know on Twitter you demonstrate this is about a lot of people's misconceptions about autism and definitely the shit that surrounds it.
Yeah, and I got a couple of anonymous messages on a site called Curious Cat and a Q&A site. One is about it's like well, people don't like me because I don't have autism because I'm a jackass. I deleted that message, and the other is regards to me setting up a commission for my writing, and they said that my that my writing is just as unsophisticated as my as my viewpoints, and that people will actually pay me to shut up. Like I said, I deleted those messages.
Deleted.
Yeah. People really shouldn't do this. I tweet about it. You've probably seen it.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I have, though. I think I have, but I'm not too sure if I did.
Yeah. Yeah, I talked.
It's just things for that, though. Like, as far as me, when it comes,
my brother thinks it might be a former friend of mine, being, you know, him.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Just want to take off my chest. I'm not trying to import any drama. I'm just fucking exhausted.
As far as autism, though, I can never really speak of any big experiences with it because even though I've lived with it my entire life, I can't really say it's ever seemed to visibly change if I didn't have it.
Yeah.
I know that you often are. I know that you are very I think the word's apprehensive of whenever someone uses the term high functioning of it because I don't feel that it's just not accurate.
I
mean, for me,
oh shit! I think I see
that. I see that.
I'm getting hit over here.
Anyway, high functioning autism. I describe myself being a high functioning. I'm not sure if that term's been updated or a little bit. I might be a little bit.
No, it's fine though. I mean, again,
oh.
Again, I would say though that for me, it's just not the reason why. It's just something that I personally ended up because again, I go by because my medical records said that about me as well. And for me, I was just willing to go, yeah, that just sounds like it because it doesn't seem like my autism is much outside of being obvious in here. Specifically, where I have a hard time so often I can end up interpreting what someone was meaning to say.
Yep, I
or
make
like
that mistake. I really make that mistake.
Or when someone is in fact making a joke, though, like a legitimate joke, and I end up taking it seriously, and then I just like, oh, I'm sorry, I just shouldn't have done that.
Someone asked me, and someone replied to me that like, dude, you realize I made a tweet that came out the wrong way, and someone pointed out to me that I might get blocked from Derek because of what I said. It's like, oh, sorry, didn't realize that. I deleted it. It's just, oh, leaving the match. Didn't. God, let's. I was really happy when I talked about like Captain Marvel and it's something really lighthearted. This is very harrowing. Fuck. A lot of stuff is just really heavy.
I know, just a lot of heavy topics, though. I mean, honestly, it's why I haven't even really been feeling like playing games and just been in YouTube, though, because it just feels like I'm just not really in the, like, playing mood much.
Yeah, I wasn't, like, now that I was, just had our moods ruined by, playing up Anthem because of all the news. It's like, let's get a time. There's nothing neither of us could do. You know what I mean? Oh,
yeah, I get it though.
So I just
I honestly feel like it's just that today was maybe not the best day for a stream because
it's fine. It's fine.
Feel like out of it.
It's fine, but we actually like talk about some good news, like James Gunn, the Marvel stuff.
Yeah, I know it was good for at least.
Yeah,
it was definitely good to at least have that. So there's a sense of catharsis. Yeah, it's just today was just really not good news. Definitely just with all
good
that
news and personal. I got my little commission updated. Paid a bit more. Yeah, I know there were some details a bit off, and the artist and was really willing to help me out. Just it was really nice. I know
It was at least good though to talk about this because again, it's just unfortunately a lot of people don't try to understand these things though, and in general, it's just.
I'm glad we're talking about it. It's just trying to make sense of it.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna probably play like one more game of this,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna go and head out then.
Yeah, same. It's Hopefully next time. Yeah, hopefully next time things will be
better mood. It's just definitely. It's just been bigger though because with stuff that's close though, especially with the semester ending, and just a whole bunch of other stuff going in. Yeah, it just feels like a lot of stuff just happened basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was a good idea to stream this because
Nothing surprises me.
we need to get out of my chest.
Yeah, because it definitely for Anthem would not have been the best to stream that though with all this news. It would have just felt tone deaf basically.
Yeah, it was
awkward.
Yeah. Maybe next time or so or sometime this weekend when things have calmed down, I'll be able to take a few days,
I think
a week.
I prefer to do if the next time we do a stream, that would be more of next week because
Yeah.
I prefer only doing streams once a week though instead of more than that.
Yeah, I do streams by myself,
Especially
the
because
weekends.
yeah, I
you were
understand
saying?
though.
Yeah, with like Mass Effect and
Oh,
stuff.
nothing though.
Would it still be tone deaf if I upload my Mass Effect video, or would that be okay? Because I haven't heard anything bad about the development prior to everything that everything Mass Effect and before. It seems like it was mostly in good spirits.
Dropping in. Hang on.
It's certainly a good spirit. It's just unfortunately though, again, it's just that because BioWare seems like they've always had production issues. I mean, to date, I think it was like Dragon Age 2 is the only game they ever delivered on schedule.
First blood on the enemy.
New kill leader appointed. Heads up. New kill leader.
Sorry, my brother was trying to talk to me. And multitasking sucks.
No,
sometimes.
you're good. It's your brother though. You definitely talk to him though.
Yeah.
If something's up.
So
it's just mainly things like
I didn't know there were pickup
definitely,
animations.
Thank you.
there.
Woo!
Yeah, so that's just always from it though. And usually it's just definitely, as the article mentioned though, where there is definitely wanting the feeling of something like the so-called BioWare magic, which is basically where, regardless of how troubled the production is, it seems like it'll always just end up panning out fine. And then, yeah, all that happened anyway.
Most of the time, it seemed to work out. It's
just even if it worked out as in the game got shipped, sometimes, especially in Inquisition's case, makes me wonder if it was really worth it.
Yeah. Oh.
Or maybe a parody of Fiddler on the Roof.
Fiddler on the Roof.
That's the.
Sorry, I'm.
Yeah, you're good, Connor. Don't worry.
My brother's talking.
Yeah.
Don't worry. It's okay, friend. I was just
Different.
I don't think.
Sects. But a parody of it, where they sing, because it is a musical, where they sing, instead of anything I can do, you can do better. Because there's a bit where they're boasting how good of Jews they are.
Oof.
Anything you, Connor.
Sorry.
Why are you saying oof? There is no anti-Semitism in this.
Anyway, sorry.
Anyway. are. And imagine if they went, anything you can do, I can do better, I can do it.
So anyway, so last match. So this is the last match for tonight.
Yeah, that was the last match, so I think
Yeah,
it's just kind of done for it though. But even still, I liked streaming for it. It's just probably gaming wasn't it.
Yeah, so
probably something that.
Yeah, so next time, so maybe we can next time we play together. So hopefully when
things calm down with this.
Yeah. So yeah.
Definitely was good streaming with you again. Definitely has been a while though.
Yeah. All right. It's been fun.
Definitely been fun though. So definitely play with you next time.
All right. You too. Have a good night.
Yeah. You too, Connor.
All right. Bye. Have a good night, everybody.